Welcome back to Liz and Sandro's Marketing Podcast. We are the podcast that wants to help your small business grow through all things digital marketing like email, social media, reputation management, and so much more. Today, Liz is going to talk about email subscriber lists.
That's right. I'm working on a marketing strategy for a new client. The client has a business. She's been in business for a number of years, and she's kind of starting a new venture that has some similarities, but it's definitely its own distinct entity with its own distinct audiences. So I presented a draft of the plan to her, and she was so funny because she said, as I was looking over it, I kind of sighed and was like, oh boy, when I got to the point where I realized I had to create a whole nother subscriber list, she's like, that's when it really sunk in, everything and all the effort that's going to need to go into building this separate venture. And she's like, you know what? I think I know the answer, but I'm just going to ask, do I have to create a whole new subscriber list? And the answer is yes, because they are two pretty distinct audiences. Again, there will be some overlap, but they are different. They do need a different message. And I reminded her that the subscriber list is your biggest marketing asset. We've been saying this for a while, and I think it continues to take precedent even over your website. Sandro and I have been giving some updates about Google My Business over the last, 6-7 months, and we just see this trend really moving toward keeping everything on Google. That's not to say you can ditch your website altogether, but we're seeing more and more of an emphasis being placed on maintaining that Google My Business profile. And I think that, again, it goes back to your email subscriber list really is your biggest marketing asset. You don't own your Facebook page and its fans. You don't own your Instagram account and its followers. So yes, taking the time to build a robust subscriber list, even if it's very slowly over time, having those dedicated fans and subscribers, I think is really important. What's also funny is that my client, she ranted a little bit as well about the fact that, she's like, I get all these email newsletters and all this stuff in my inbox. She's like, and I don't read it. And I had to remind her that it's not about your habits. It's not about how you want to be communicated with. It's all about doing what's best to attract and communicate with your target market. And as we build out her buyer personas, we really do think that email is going to be a great way to reach them. So that's definitely part of the marketing strategy, slowly over time, building her following and touching their inbox, however many times a month, X number of times a month. And she may not like it. She may not love sending out emails, but the beauty of that is she can hire someone to do it for her. So she can on a consistent basis, be in front of her target market, and we can track leads and conversion rates and all that fun stuff.
So recently, I had a client who had an event and was just throwing this event out of the blue and had no email list. She was willing to buy an email list from anyone who gives her an email list. She didn't understand. I think that this was a bad idea. Are buying lists a good idea?
Yeah, great question. And I know we've chatted about this before. I will continue to say that I think it's a bad idea, specifically or particularly if you are in the B2C space. So if you are targeting consumers, I think buying lists is a horrible idea. You don't know the quality. They may have no interest in your product or service. So I really recommend against that. I think I've mentioned this in previous episodes as well, but if you are in the B2B space, I think that is a little bit of an exception. I think you need to be very mindful about it. I think you need to go to a reputable list company, but there is evidence of buying lists working a little bit better in the B2B space. Most of our clients are in the B2C space, so I'm constantly telling them, no, don't do it. Just build your list organically.
Is it GDPR compliant in Europe?
No. No. I did meet with a prospective client last week, and I was telling him about custom audiences and lookalike audiences, and he's an attorney, so he kind of paused and was processing some of the ramifications of uploading his client list into Facebook. And, he asked my opinion, and I said, well, technically, we don't have to follow GDPR, but I think definitely think about it. And I have been telling all of my clients that too. Here's what's going on in the world. Give me your list with caution. But if you give it to me, I will be uploading it to Facebook.
So Liz, it sounds like you're advising everyone, start their email list, nurture it, grow it as best you can. It'll become invaluable, but more time goes on.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And thank you for joining us. You will find us where you find your favorite podcasts. And if you like what you hear, we'd love a review. If you have a question, we'd love to hear it. We'll have our email address in the show notes. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you next time.